The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles, and broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your host, Nicole Hutchison.
Good morning, Cowboys Nation. Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign here in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Brianna Aldridge, Christy Scales, Aisha Morrison. Ladies, wake up!
It's the for me.
Are you done? Are you over it? Are you over it already? 8 a.m.?
Between, you know.
Yeah, no, it's great. We get to be the first ones to comment on the day. So there you go.
What you say?
Yeah, it's an honor. We're
like
the
it.
we're
Wake
the
up with us.
we're the
Wake up
lead off
with us.
hitters of the
Wake up!
batting lineup.
There we go, Chris. There we go.
My dog.
Y'all need help.
It's great.
Nicole.
Y'all want a fun fact I found last night?
We love a fun fact.
Okay, just because breakfast food for some of us. So Jadeveon Clowney, and I remember when he was at South Carolina and being recruited and everything out of college. I mean, just an athletic freak. I mean, he was well known. There were already a lot of stories about him, and so I thought I had remembered one thing, but I went back last night and researching and found it is true. He grew up in Rock Hill, South Carolina, which isn't too far
my
south
granddad's from
of
there.
Charlotte. Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina. His mother, and I say this because they're great partners of ours, the company, worked at Frito-Lay, and she did the Dorito machine. So when he was growing up, his mom made Doritos for 11. How cool is that?
Dope. That's actually kind of cool. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
That's
Just
a fun-
because we,
that's a-
you know, anyway.
Yeah, I heard
We get it all the
he's a
time
country
here.
guy. He's just
Oh, yeah. He was like 6'3" as a freshman and stuff like that. I mean, he's just always been this athletic freak. And then first overall draft pick in 2014 in the NFL, it was Houston Texans at the time. But just to put it into context, because sometimes I think we have to relate things to Cowboys to kind of get the timing of everything. So that was the year the Cowboys drafted Zach Martin and then DeMarcus Lawrence in the second round. Zach was our first round pick. So that's how long Jadeveon Clowney has been plying his trade in the NFL.
Yeah, former number 1 overall pick, like Christy mentioned, and Stephon Gilmore actually told me that they grew up together. They went to rivalry high schools, so they played together, played against each other. So that was a cool little nugget as well. But the Cowboys get some help in that edge rush room. I just want to know, how does Clowney kind of fit in this defense? Do you feel like, and what kind of impact do you feel like he can make on this defense at this stage of his career?
Well, before we get into that side of things, I want to say Nicole had a fantastic interview with him yesterday. Check it out. Check our girl out. Also, too, listen. So I understand, like, right now the Cowboys, we saw it in the game, we've seen it in the last 2 weeks, is the inability to get pressure on a consistent rate. Well, I think what Dallas is looking for is just another gentleman who can win in one-on-ones. James Houston has been able to do that, but consistently you haven't really seen that from outside your interior. I think it's awesome that the defensive tackles, Kenny Clark, led the team in pressures. Awesome. But what's going on with your edges? So I think that he's been brought in just to be a veteran, obviously be a veteran presence. What he brings from a pass rush standpoint, I watched about 5 games from him last year. The pursuit to the ball is still very much so there. The backside pursuit, the effort, and how he plays. He still plays with a lot of power. He's not as bendy, like bending the edge, but he still is able to use his hand tech and what he knows to disengage. He's not rushing down the middle of guys, but he is attacking leverages, attacking their shoulders, things like that. So I think that he has lost a little bit of the speed in which he can play with, but the efficiency and the know-how as a veteran at that position, I think, still shines through. I think he helps your room, and hopefully he gets some respect out there because of his presence, because I think that's also what you're looking for. You're looking for another threatening. He is going to be a depth piece, I understand, but I wonder if you're looking for another guy that can warrant a chip at the very least, you know what I'm saying? Just really affect to have to change things, because right now you're rushing 4 and nobody cares. And I think that's an issue. And I don't want Eberflus to run into always having to blitz to get pressure. I think that he can adopt more timely pressures if he wants to, but that's going to take some trust on the back end. Let's see if we can help out that secondary as well, get some pass rush. That's what I get from him coming here. What do you ladies got?
Yeah, definitely, like you said, mentioned rotational pieces, how I look at him. 32 years old. He said yesterday in his press conference that he still feels like he's got a lot in the tank. I believe him wholeheartedly when he says he's been working out since the end of last season, hoping to find a squad. And I like the fact that he said Dallas is one of the top picks. He's a guy who's not done in his mind playing. He knows Dallas, what it means to be a Dallas Cowboy. Just looking around the facility, he says this is a primetime team, and he wants people to see him in primetime, that he's still got stuff to offer. When I look at him, I don't think he's, he mentioned it too. I think somebody asked him, about filling in for Micah Parsons, filling the void, and he made it very clear. I love the answer. Yeah, he said, "I am not Micah Parsons." Okay, and I like
also
that.
32 and been in this league for this long,
and that is a test too. When that there's only a handful of people who can say they've been going, in their 12th season in the NFL, but I don't look at him as someone who's going to come in here and get double-digit sacks. No, but I see someone, if you can generate 6-7 sacks out of this guy, that makes Marshawn Nealon that much better. That makes Sam Williams that much better. And if you can get each of those guys hitting 5-6 sacks, well, now we have a difference in what we have seen. And like you said, they just need help in that pass rush. That is evident. And it's funny because it's this time last year they need help in the run game, and then we bring in Kenny Clark, and the run game looks good. Okay, well, like you said, what's going on the edges? So can we just find that balance? And I think he could be the answer to it, or helps it, if you will. You hear that beeping?
Yeah, I do. It's
okay.
fine.
All right.
It's the stopwatch in my bag.
Oh, okay. That means do we need to get out of here?
Hold on.
The door. We need to use
Somebody in here got PTSD.
that part.
I only know stop, drop, and roll.
Somebody.
That's all I
It's
know.
very confusing.
I'm joking, but it's okay. We'll take
Stop
care of
after
it.
a minute.
Yeah, we'll take care of it.
Fine.
Well, go ahead. What you think?
Yeah,
Hon?
well, I thought it was interesting that Coach Schottenheimer in the press conference yesterday afternoon made a point to say that it's not just pass rush with Clowney, that he can play the run as well.
That's a big
because
thing,
I think
too.
that most of us are thinking, yeah, he's going to come in as a situational pass rusher. And let's face it, Jadeveon, after the time in Houston, he's kind of been a vagabond. He's been signing with short-term contracts with different teams. The Cowboys are his 7th NFL team. That's unusual for the first overall pick of the draft. And so I went last night and looked. Pro Football Reference has great breakdowns, not just all the stats, but it'll give you snap counts as well. And so I was assuming that Jadeveon has been really just one of these, just coming in situationally as a pass rusher, but no.
Talk about it.
So in Carolina last year, he played 2/3 of the snaps, right? And he did, 652 snaps, 5.5 sacks for Carolina last year. And Baltimore the year before, and we know how great a defense they have, and they are stacked with defensive players there. He played all 17 games, had 9.5 sacks, and played just under 58% of the snaps. So that's a lot. And then in Cleveland, 2/3 of the snaps in 22 and 2021, 3/4 of the snaps, and had 9 sacks, a couple of forced fumbles. So this is a guy who is going to be, I think, for this team more than just coming in a third of the time or half the time. Now, to begin, sure, as he gets his feet under him, but I think it's going to be more than just pass rush situationally.
Something that he had mentioned to me yesterday was I'd asked him about, what strikes you or what do you like most about Eberflus's system, and he had told me that when he was in Carolina, he was asked to drop back a lot, not be in an attack first front. And so that was something that stood out to him the most when he first took the visit last week. But I mean, you talk about a guy who is also, Bree had actually hit on it on the nail, that's been a producer in the run game as well. But in terms of the other pass rushers that we do have, how does he kind of complement that room in terms of skill set?
Well, I think that how do I say this in a nice way? Well, it's our job. I think that Dante Fowler has not performed to the level at this point that maybe the Cowboys was expecting, and I know I'll say even when I was expecting coming back to Dallas after the big year that he had with the Commanders, correct? Was it the Commanders?
Washington.
Yeah. And so I think that this plays a role in, them looking for a little bit more from him. And to you ladies' point, Bree and Christy, I do believe that the Cowboys are also looking for someone who is a good mix. What I think about the defensive end room is that you have guys like Marshawn Nealon, who's still developing a pass rush, but fantastic against the run, right? I think you're looking at Donovan Izaraku, who is still trying to figure out, his pass rush plan and to still also, too, I think, understand his weight and his leverage and things like that going up against, some of these bigger tackles, stuff like that. And then so I think as you go through the room and you look at what it is as a whole, you have some this or that, but you don't have that many guys who are both. And so you're having to rotate guys in and out and things situationally, which is very normal. But if you have a gentleman that can come in and man those spots, just more consistently. And I don't know if it's going to be any different, Christy. You bringing up the snaps. I mean, what will we be looking at if he ends up paying 2/3 of the snaps? That means somebody that's not playing as much. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think that as a whole, this room is. There's some guys still developing, like Sam Williams as well. He's coming back from injury. He's also in a place to where the change of direction and stuff and things he's still working on in the process. And so I think Dallas just adding a savvy veteran is going to help on both sides. So that's why, that's how I see the room right now. What do you think?
Definitely feel like he makes the room better automatically. Even his veteran presence, his knowledge, just like a Kenny Clark going into that situation, how he brings that to the room. And he spoke on that a bit. And he said he watched the film. He likes what he sees in the inside and he looks at what's there on the edges and he felt like he could help. I think everybody watching at home, what we've seen in the last two games, still early in the season, we feel like that room's going to get better. Like you said, there's some injuries in there. There's some youth in there. But he makes it better, just what he can bring experience-wise. He seems like a guy who can lead a room. Like Chrissy said, he's been on a bunch of different teams. He talked about, I've been in a situation where I jumped in and I haven't been with this team, training camp first week, and I jump in. And he said he expects to get those snaps in Chicago, which I thought was, okay, cool. He doesn't know how much. So my first question is, okay, well, who else in the room? Someone's losing snaps, so who is it? So that's the biggest question there. But just watching some stuff that he did just last season at 31 years old at the time, his ability, if someone doesn't get that arm on him, he is sneaky and he can get through and he can disrupt. And I think that's what this room needs, someone who can make an impact, because they need help up front right now.
Yeah. And the other thing is, you were talking about how sometimes he was asked to drop back and things like that. In earlier career stops, he was technically outside linebacker, right? Ma'am. Because they played 3-4s. And so he would be outside linebacker, pass rushing off the edge. Here, of course, under Eberflus's system, the Cowboys were a 4-3. So I'd imagine that he'll have his hand down on the ground, pass rushing and the like. But at least he does have that kind of experience, dropping if you do some zone blitzes and drop in coverage and things like that. Also, just his body type, so tall and lean. He looks like an NBA power forward.
He's so
you see him walk down the hall, tall and lean, 6'5".
Like
you look so little on your interview.
They're like,
look at that nugget.
But one of the things that he's really good at, it counts on the stat sheet as a PD, a pass defense. What does that mean? It's when you get that big
bat it
and bat the ball
Need
down.
it.
You don't always have to get to the quarterback. You can get your hands up, knock the ball down that way. We just need to have a pass rush. It's not always measured in sacks. We talk about that all the time. It's how you affect the quarterback, not let him get on that back foot, the timing, and make the throws confidently, disrupt things. And that's what's really going to help your defensive backfield.
That's a good point. Is he okay, so you know how we look for answers of how someone can come in, immediately take whatever room or position group to the next level. Is Jadeveon Clowney the answer of what can take this edge rush room to the next level?
I think that may be expecting too much at this point. I think right now they're going to want him to be part of a defensive rotation. And when I'm talking before about, hey, he played 64% of the snaps or he played this at these previous stops, I'm not predicting that he's going to get 2/3 or half of the snaps here. I'm saying that even though it's this point in his career and it looks like he's one of these guys that's going around like a mercenary to all these different places, he has played a lot. It's not that he's a washed up guy who, okay, hopefully we get 10 or 15 good plays out of him. It's not like that. He's when he's been on the field, he's been very productive.
No, I mean, I feel the same.
I was thinking.
I know. I was like, our words.
I was processing Christy's.
Yeah, I'm not looking at Clowney as the savior for the team or the defense or the room. That's not how I'm looking. I feel like, and I believe that with his production that he's just shown from last year, that he's gonna come in and this room doesn't get worse. That's how I'm looking at it. Yeah. Does it go up? You hope so at some point. Like I said, his knowledge, his experience in the game, that's not going to hurt this room. It's only going to help this room. And maybe he doesn't see a ton of snaps, Chrissy, but I think even like he said, I watched every single snap last week.
Yeah.
His insight right there.
And it's a great deal. 1 year, $3.5 million with incentives up to 6.5. That's, believe me, that's the least he's ever made in his career. Yeah. So that could be a real bargain for this team. And when you have a heavy incentive deal such as this, the Cowboys, believe me, Jerry Jones wants to pay the top of it. He wants him to reach all of those incentives because it'll be well worth it.
I mean, I kind of feel how Bree feels, y'all. I kind of feel how Bree feels. The edge, because I'm looking at the edge room. The edge room lacks speed. It lacks speed. It lacks twitch, and guys that went off the can win off the snap. Like I think the most twitchy guy that you have right now is James Houston. And those type of guys are really what give tackles. And sometimes these interior players issue. I've seen Tyler Booker struggle with it, and we have a lot of respect for him, Cooper Beebe, those guys. And so I think that the defensive end room just lacks speed. And so with that, Jadeveon Clowney is not going to give you a whole bunch of speed. He's going to give you crazy motor still, which is insane, and a lot of effort. And so to Bree's point, I don't think that it's going to – it's kind of like a horizontal thing. I don't know if it's, but what I will say is that maybe his presence warrants, them to come off one of your defensive tackles, because that's where a lot of the focus has been is your defensive tackles. Maybe he's threatening enough on the edge that somebody is like, you know what, actually, we probably got to chip him too. We maybe have to do those things. I think that they're just trying to hold on for dear life until that number 0 gets back, and I think that I expect to see him doing some blitzing off the edge and things like that this year. Talked to a couple coaches in the off season, and that's something that they really see as something that Overshown can take a step with, and I think he would. So I think this defense is just trying to hold on to there because I don't know if there's anybody else you could go get at this point in time to help you in that department. This was the best free agent you could get. This is the best defensive free agent you could get on the defensive line. Let's see how it works out. But the defensive end room lacks speed, and it's hurting you right now.
And to your point, Aisha, I just hope that this doesn't impact what James Houston can do on the field because he's already getting the least amount of snaps of that group, and to me, he's been the most impressive.
Yeah.
So I know for this team, you want who you invested in, your second year. Talking about Marshawn Nealon, who you invested in the draft this year, but also it's just like I hope this doesn't impact because I feel like James Houston has only proven himself, but he hasn't. Snap count versus the other guys.
What do y'all think the reasons for that? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No.
I was just going to say, or it may be the other way around. Okay, let's invest in Jadeveon Clowney, right? Bring him in, and then let's kind of take away some snaps from other guys like a Dante Fowler. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen, but it could be. We talk about his compete everyday mantra. James Houston has shown up every week. Every day in training camp leading up until now, specifically in the regular season. I mean, that could also be a thing too, where they're like, okay, let's just take away some snaps from other guys and James Houston gets some opportunities. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching.
No, I
hoping.
don't. Nobody's reaching. Like
I
I don't
think
agree.
this-
I think that you're fine, and your thought process is like you see. It's clear to see who is winning one-on-one and winning off the snap and who's not.
Watch the tape. That's
you
what
have
Dak
a
says.
lot of strength and power on this defensive line, which is awesome for run stopping. Amazing for containing the edge and all that good stuff if you need to, depending on who's out there, unless they lighten the butt. But it's not helpful in a league where speed rusher is literally like what people desire. So I'm optimistic that he comes in and can kind of stabilize the room like you ladies were talking about, but I'm just waiting to see who's going to take a step up or be threatening from that side of the coin at this point.
What were you about to ask, Aisha? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Huh?
You had asked something. You were about to ask something.
Oh, I was going to ask, what do y'all think the reason why, like I feel like you just asked that, but the James Houston not getting as many snaps? Because I saw him play the run pretty well, and I've also seen him rush the passer pretty well. So I don't think it's a skill issue. Maybe it's just how the cookie crumbles, and this is a guy that made the roster kind of late and all that stuff, even though he showed up, but he was like, and so I'm just wondering why that is.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of early because even like against the Giants, I don't think Ezraku got defensive snaps until the second half. He played a lot more in the second half. So I would just say it's early and they're probably still
trying to figure it out.
working things out. Yeah.
Okay, yes,
a lot of it, obviously has to do with matchups and the like. So
weren't they doing some standing stuff though at training camp?
yeah.
They were doing some.
I think 3 words: work in progress. Right?
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's
still
fair,
so
girl.
early.
All
Still
right,
so early.
fine. I ain't about to fuss.
All right, we're going to take our first break here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk. Up next, we're going to switch to the opposite side of the ball. Talk some Dak Prescott, Big Four, balling out so far through the first 2 weeks of the season. All right, we're going to take our first break. We'll be right back.
How does the cheerleader's hair always look so perfect? We asked, and they shared one of their biggest beauty secrets. If you want hair like theirs and confidence to match, use Babyliss Pro styling tools. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders use Babyliss Pro curling irons to get those perfect game day curls. To get the hair you see on the cheerleaders, head to BabylissPro.com. Use the code Cowboys20 for 20% off Babyliss Pro tools, the official styling tools of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Get the discount while it lasts. Offer may be withdrawn at any time at advertiser's discretion.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
All right, Cowboys fans, this one's for us. If the men in your life bleed blue and silver like we do, I've found the perfect way to elevate their game day rituals. Gillette just released their best razor in Cowboys colors, and it is everything a Cowboys fan could want. The new Gillette Labs official Dallas Cowboys licensed razor combines his Cowboys pride with Gillette's best shave. And with 50% longer lasting blades, it is truly the gift that keeps on giving. Get it while you can at Gillette.com/NFL. Gillette's best shave is also available as heated.
The countdown to game day starts with Rally Days presented by SeatGeek. Get behind the scenes look at AT&T Stadium, meet the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and alumni, play games, win prizes, and more. Get your tickets at AT&TStadium.com/rallydays.
Well, don't do that this week because they go to Chicago.
The next time. We're going to need a week 4. Going to need a week 4.
Yeah.
Rally them up.
You'll be looking crazy outside AT&T Stadium. All right. Cowboys and Chicago Bears, but I know we are going to be talking about that.
Thank you, Chris.
I'm trying.
Great.
Oh.
Right on point. All right. Sorry. Back to what I was saying. Dak Prescott balling out. And through the first 2 weeks, and you look back at the numbers per PFF. Shout out to them because they be so clutch with all these little stats. Third in passing yards amongst all quarterbacks through 2 weeks. Second highest grade. Second passing grade. First in 9 big-time throws. Well, that's the amount of numbers he's had in big-time throws. Sorry. Tied for second in first down completions and second in grade under pressure. And Dak also leads the NFL with 24 completions of 10-plus yards. 8 came in the fourth quarter. Overtime on Sunday versus the New York Giants. Ladies.
Ladies.
How y'all feel about Dak so far?
Ladies.
I said now, ladies. Yeah. How y'all feel about Dak?
Come on,
yeah. Y'all see him balling out? Yeah. That's all I had. That's all I had. I'm not a writer.
Sorry.
I'm not a
Dak.
artist. Sorry.
All right, let's get back on.
Yeah.
Let's really
Go for it. Go for it.
I'll start us off. I will say that anyone who was having doubts about Dak Prescott coming back from his season-ending injury, I think all those doubters have been silenced at this point. It's early. Yes, it's week 2. But when you walk away from the Giants game, I know the team has it was great win because they won at the end of the day. Head coach Schottenheimer's first win as a head coach. But it's not something that I was like feeling like the Cowboys, they got it now. Like, no, like this was scary at many times. And if you didn't have Brandon Aubrey, and if Dak Prescott did not put you in positions to get in field goal range multiple times, this could have been ugly, right? And then imagine if they would have lost that game. This could have been a whole different type of conversation. So much credit for them because they never gave up and they kept giving themselves chances, but they also kept shooting themselves in the foot. And I think that going back to week 1, I was impressed with Dak. If you didn't have those couple drop passes, we're talking about them with the big upset in Philly starting off the season. He kept them in it when they really didn't deserve, in my opinion, to win that game. Like the Giants were just they were giantsing. I don't know. It's not a word, right?
I'm screaming.
But I'm saying that because
Giantsing.
Dak Prescott, he looks confident. He looks comfortable. He's reading the defense. Outside that one play that was an interception that maybe shouldn't have been interception if you ask Shoddy. Very impressed on what Dak Prescott can do. This is looking like the old Dak Prescott prior to the injury, the runner-up MVP Dak Prescott. And again, it's only week 2, but I don't think you can ask for a better start from him, especially, like I said, there were so many questions like, okay, we haven't seen him in preseason. We haven't really seen him with live action. He hasn't played since last November. Well, you can't tell. There's no drop-off.
I like the word you use, confident. And confident not only in what he sees, but confidence in his teammates. And certainly that's been merited with CD over all these years, but Pickens as well, knowing that if you make that throw, that, hey, he's at least going to draw a pass interference, right? If not come down with it. But there was the one play in particular from Sunday's win that Shoddy pointed to, and that was that third down pass to CD Lamb in such a key time. And should the ball have gone there? Maybe not. CD was double covered. But what Shoddy always says, it's players, not plays. And so he trusted CD, even though he was double covered, to come down with that. Put it up where CD could high point it and get it. And that, I thought that said so much about that game and the way that Dak is, again, not only seeing everything, but feeling about his teammates. And the other thing that Shoddy pointed out was the footwork. And he says that Dak's footwork grade over the past 2 weeks has been over 85, which means he's been playing confidently and seeing the field. And Steve Young, the great 49ers quarterback, Babe Laufenberg, my colleague and former great NFL quarterback. Yeah, you're CBS 11. Great quarterbacks and coaches will say that if you watch just film of a quarterback's feet during a game, they'll tell you whether they've had a good game or not. If they're throwing off of the drop, if it's a three-step drop or a 5-step drop, firing off of that, just you can tell how well a player, a quarterback, is seeing things and how confident he is by his footwork. And so to have a grade that high, it just supports what you guys are saying already, what we've seen through the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, and Christy, not only is he not only is the footwork clean, he's adjusting the footwork based off of the protection as well.
Exactly. Yes.
He's making some decisions. The things that stand out to me, looking at the stats initially, shout out to Nick Harris. He had a great tweet yesterday against the Blitz versus the New York Giants. Dak Prescott was 13 of 19 for 149 yards and a TD. That tells me, number one, looking at the film, he's getting them in the right plays. There was a couple checks he made last week that were critical. Well, this last game that were critical. And he's really just orchestrating the line of scrimmage. I mean, he's 32, y'all. He's seen pretty much everything at this point. And so I think you're seeing that in his play. Also, too, we talk about this coaching staff. We talk about Shoddy being, player over scheme or whatever the case may be. Listen, he leads the NFL with 24 completions of over 10-plus yards. That tells me they're pushing the ball down the field, and they're also allowing him to throw balls he enjoys throwing. These deep overs, these deep crossers, some of those deep digs where they're really pushing the ball downfield. I think that's something that when Dak has been at his best, we've gotten to see him do more of, is to really stress the defense, push the ball downfield. And there are throws that quarterbacks just like. Them deep overs and crossers and stuff, those be on the money for him. He puts a lot of drive into that ball, and I think that speaks to, again, Christy, what you're saying about the footwork. Adjusting the protections as well this past game, understanding his offensive line, understanding where his pressure is coming from, and now adding his legs and him being comfortable doing that. This offense needs that other element. It doesn't have to be consistent, but have people have to think about it. And then if they leave you with grass like they did last week, make them pay.
Yep, he took it.
And so I believe that he's playing some of the most decisive football I've ever seen, some of the most clean football I've ever seen. And I think that this is what we expected him to be at his peak. I hope this is something he can maintain, because he's, like Bree said, he kept you in this game. Like, him and the offense really drove home this game. And you could tell when he decided, like, I guess we're going to have to do this on our own in that sense. And I felt like he really took control over that game. So
and
he's playing some great football.
Even with some of the protection, like the Miles Sanders, right? And Javonte Williams stepping in when there has been extra pressure coming, just to give him that extra tick of time to get the ball out. So it's been very impressive what we've seen in the first couple weeks.
That win was ugly, but when people ask me what makes you confident that the Cowboys are going to go forward, it's because they have Dak Prescott, like Aisha said, playing his best football that I feel like we've seen. So that's what I got from the whole craziness. And plus butter, of course.
Sure.
You got butter.
Screaming.
But I just think that Prescott's playing unbelievable right now.
They had to overcome some of the self-inflicted wounds. That was on special teams where they really put themselves in field position with 4 penalties.
Starting off,
Marquise had a couple, and
you can't stop them. You can't stop them, and you giving them the ball at the 38 every time. Special teams, get your life together. Please. Stop giving these people free yards.
That's a whole nother conversation.
The barnacles. I was gonna say,
talking about that.
Lord,
she forgot.
It was important. It'll come back to me. It'll come back.
Okay, all right. Well, if Dak continues to play at this level, what do y'all think this could unlock for this offense?
I think the offense is gonna be okay. I think the offense is gonna be right.
That's not who exactly.
Maybe it can. Maybe with him playing this way, you can score enough points to where the other team has to go score points every time they touch the ball. I think the more that this run game grows, too, Javonte Williams, I think him showing promise, giving that quarterback some balance. You know what I'm saying? Playing off of play action and things like that. I think that is going to help your defense. You need to be able to. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we've already seen chunk plays through the first couple weeks, and you'll get even more when they're having to put men in the box, the defense, because the run game's being effective.
Yeah.
It's going to just open up more down the field.
Yeah. I think you do need to work on the ball control aspect of things, and also just putting together steady drives as you need. That's one thing that this game showed me, is that if they need to go score, if they need to put together drives, they absolutely can. And I think that's going to be important as this defense gets his legs under it as of right now, because it's just week 2, so I'm not going to freak out.
while the defense still looks for some help, the Cowboys O-line will not necessarily be looking for some help, but they will have a new person that will be helping, obviously. Brock Hoffman at playing center, potentially, because he did step in for Cooper Beebe, who will be out for about 6 to 8 weeks, the reports say, for a ankle injury. Thoughts, ladies, on the type of what kind of loss this is for this Cowboys offensive line that, they've battled with injuries the last couple of years, inconsistency of having their starting 5 guys out there throughout the course of the season. So, just what kind of a loss is this for those guys?
Well, the thing is, Hoffman, he did start 7 games last year. Most of them were for Zach Martin at right guard, but he played a lot of center as well because BB had the concussion early in that game against Cincinnati, and Hoffman came in and played most of that and then started the next week. So obviously has a lot more experience than some of these other teams putting a young guy in there. But he's the attitude and the feistiness of the team. If there's a little scuffle going on, we know that 67's involved. Brock Hoffman. I mean, grit, and that's what everybody talks about, moxie, grit, all that. But talented player as well, So it's too bad. And with Hoffman, it's not just the ankle, it's the ligaments that's like on the outside of your ankle, the lateral sprain. If you ever
What, BB?
BB, and also a bone in the foot. So, hopefully closer to 6 than to 8, but, he's basically going to miss half the season, unfortunately, a little less than half. So Hoffman's going to step up, and then T.J. Bass presumably now is your backup center. So, it's going to have a lot of moving parts here along the offensive line.
Yeah. I remember talking to Brock Hoffman last season in the locker room after he stepped in and had a, over serviceable game, if you will. There wasn't a lot of drop off. I think this is going to be a longer stretch playing that position, so that's what you're worried about. There's a reason why Brock Hoffman is not the starter and BB is, even though I say that because head coach Brian Schottenheimer yesterday said he didn't believe there was going to be a lot of drop off. So you're obviously hoping that's what the case is, but I feel like there are going to be a little bit of bumps and bruises, and you kind of even seen that a little bit in overtime and I think he said that Dak kind of took
responsibility
for that, for the snap there. I think this is a guy who's been on this team since 2022. He's played in 39 games, so that should give you some confidence. It's not like we just rolled him in off the street, or like you said, he hasn't had those snaps at center. So that gives me confidence. This coaching staff gives me the confidence, and his attitude, demeanor, a little unrelated, but at training camp, I felt like it was always Brock Hoffman in the scuffle and Schoonmaker, and I'm like, these are not and people who I thought would be,
or little Tyler Neville.
I'm just like,
the rookie tight end,
it's just
from
amazing.
Harvard. It's like, what?
But you're gonna need that, and I think when your quarterback's Dak Prescott, he's going to make sure that they have that chemistry where you need it. And we're not going to see BB probably until, in the best situation, what is that, the week before the bye week? But you'll probably see him after the bye week. Yeah.
Hopefully mid-October, but we'll see. Yeah. I think, especially at center, when you lose a center, I think the concern is communication, right? Especially when you have a rookie right guard in Tyler Booker, who will only be making his 3rd regular season start. But again, like we were saying, Hoffman has the experience. And the other thing is Dak helps a lot with that communication and identifying and things like that. And if there's some kind of misidentification as they approach the line of scrimmage, Dak can make up for that. That was something that he and Cooper Beebe, because remember, Beebe coming as a rookie had not played center. He's guard, so Dak was having to help with that at the start, but Beebe picked it up so quickly. Well, with Hoffman, with that experience, I don't think that's as big a concern as it would be for some other teams who might have to throw a center out there that doesn't have the playing time experience of Hoffman at center and guard.
All right, we're going to take our do you have something? Are you sure you're about to say something?
I'll wait.
Oh, I thought you were about to say, my bad. All right, we're going to take our second break here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk, and dive more into that secondary struggles. We touched on it a little bit yesterday. Well, not a lot of it, actually. We're going to keep diving into it because it is a big focal point heading into week 3. All right, we'll take our second break. We'll be right back.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
How does the cheerleader's hair always look so perfect? We asked, and they shared one of their biggest beauty secrets. If you want hair like theirs and confidence to match, use Babyliss Pro styling tools. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders use Babyliss Pro curling irons to get those perfect game day curls. To get the hair you see on the cheerleaders, head to BabylissPro.com. Use the code Cowboys20 for 20% off Babyliss Pro tools, the official styling tools of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Get the discount while it lasts. Offer may be withdrawn at any time at advertiser's discretion.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Are you a Cowboys super fan? The search is on for the 2025 Fan of the Year presented by Captain Morgan. Now through September 29th, nominate extraordinary NFL fans, dynamic duos, and game changers who rep the Cowboys with pride and turn every game into an unforgettable adventure. You could be sent to Super Bowl 60. Enter to win at NFL.com/Fan of the Year today.
Y'all know what time it is?
Wake up time?
Wake up!
I got it right.
No, that one was
Wake up!
Yeah, that one was better. That one was definitely better. All right. Talk to me. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. All right. Cowboys secondary had their fair share of struggles. We touched on it, like I said yesterday. But shout out to Nick Harris because he be coming with the stats. Per PFF.
Right. He don't sleep.
He don't. Literally. This was probably at like 3 a.m. Insane. But it's great. PFF. Cowboys cornerback Trayvon Diggs allowed 4 receptions for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns in coverage. He also allowed a perfect 158 passer rating on throws targeting towards him. And Kaiir Elam also leads the league. That was actually heading into Monday Night Football in receiving yards allowed. So the secondary, certainly the presence of Deron Bland was missed. But just talk about, what y'all want to see out of those guys moving forward. Ladies.
Before we start, can we ask this? Was he missed from a communication standpoint, or was he missed from a? Because I thought Reddy Stewart played well, but was it the communication? Was it the presence? Was it what was it?
Deron was playing outside in base, and then would move inside to nickel. Yep. And then Trayvon would take his place. That's how it worked for week 1. So when Deron out, you're missing outside and inside, basically, because he's able, to play both depending on the situation. If you're with 2 cornerbacks instead of 3 cornerbacks, so you're kind of losing 2 guys. But my hope is that it's mostly communication issues, because that's what yeah.
So I
also think this is equal opportunity going around. I think the pass rush could have helped a lot as well. So. But that was ugly. That was ugly. Pass defense. There's and they're the first to admit it.
Oh yeah,
they know the numbers in this case aren't lying.
No.
Go ahead.
The ball. Please breathe.
Here.
Please, sister.
The DBs were here all game.
They were just that last one to Neighbors. I mean, oh my gosh, that was just the perfect throw. I mean, the defenders were there. Sometimes you do have to give credit to the receiver and the quarterback for a great play, but wow, 158 perfect passer rating.
Every time one of their receivers touched the ball, it was 10+ yards. As a matter of fact,
it wasn't just Malik Neighbors. That was
top 2.
It was just like whoever was getting the rock. And I think, and I guess I ask you guys, was this an issue in week 1, but we just contained their number?
A.J. Brown had one
But
catch
I'm saying, is it because they weren't being targeted?
No, it's because they ran the ball.
It's because they ran the ball.
Jalen Hurts ran the ball.
It's because they ran the ball, and also their two star receivers were dealing with some soft tissue things, had a groin, had a hamstring, and if you looked at the tape, you could tell they weren't running full speed. I knew that I knew teams were going to test Trayvon early. I think that it should have been clear that they were going to test the Cowboys early with Russell Wilson. That's one of the guys. Now, I will say it felt like Dayball just told them to go play. Because you could tell at the line of scrimmage that Russ wasn't doing a whole bunch of maneuvering and talking and stuff. It was, your guys don't seem like they can beat my guys. Or your guys don't seem like they can stop my guys. There was a lot of miscommunication, I felt like, between the safeties and the corners. I think that there were plenty of times you see the safeties clapping, and on the end of plays, you see the safeties clapping their hands at the corners and vice versa. And again, they're playing quarters. That's mostly what they play. They did some cover 6, but they're playing quarters, so this is your part of the field. This is my part of the field. It's like a square, like how Christy breaks it down. You're supposed to pass off the next guy. Like, there has to be clear communication, but you also have to affect the receiver somehow. But they're doing this soft zone coverage, and I think they're doing this soft zone coverage because, number one, the coach normally does soft zone coverage, and I feel bamboozled. I ain't gonna hold it. Feel a little bamboozled because in training camp, I'm looking at them. I'm like, even having conversations with some of the players, they're doing a mix of man, they're doing match coverages, they're doing this, that. And I don't know what adjustment Eberflus has made, or if this is just what he was just playing with me. He was playing with me. You playing with me.
Like a little toy.
Because I thought they were going to do a mix of man and zone. They have really predominantly been zone. And when you go up against a good quarterback, he's going to torch you. Because Dak torched them. That's just what it's going to be. And so I'm looking for, obviously, the communication to get better. Trying to give Trayvon some grace because I understand he is coming back from a pretty major injury. I got it. But mercy, you cannot just watch guys run past you. They split between your safety and corner.
That was the worst
all
one, in my
day.
opinion, yeah.
What is happening right now? And also, too, you know what? That's what was going on. So I think the communication on the back end absolutely has to improve. To Christy's point, you got to do a little bit more from a pass rush perspective to help these guys. And I know Eberflus ain't a McBlitzy person.
Yeah.
But you might have to do some McBlitzies.
I hate you.
But it's so hard because it's like, if you don't trust your back end right now, can you allocate resources for that?
Well, there was one play in that game where they send Damone Clark in from linebacker, and was it Singletary?
They did it with Reddy too.
Yeah, and just picked him up just enough for Russ to have time to get the ball away. So, you got to credit the Giants for that.
Oh, there was a couple of them.
Yeah, there were a couple of them. But yeah, I agree. And the other thing is, when you're going against a Caleb Williams who's in his second year, you might be able to fool him a little bit more, with some of the looks and blitzes and things like that than a Russell Wilson. But if you don't get there, and Caleb Williams, he'll be like Jalen. He'll hurt you with his legs if you don't maintain that lane integrity on your pass rush.
Yeah, somebody got to defend the middle of the field.
I think going from the Giants' perspective, going into week 2, is Russell Wilson able to lead this offense. I think the Cowboys secured his spot for week 3 because they allowed him to basically double the numbers that he did in week 1, which was just traumatizing from a defensive standpoint. Unlike week 1, I think it was a little disappointing to feel like Aisha said there was no adjustments that were ever really made. You just kept seeing the same thing over and over. It was like deja vu. And you cannot do that when you have a threat like Malik Neighbors, but then it was like when you had Wan'Dale Robinson doing that to you deep down the field as well. I was just like, what is going on? But literally there was a replay and the safety and our corners are doing this to each other.
Yeah,
that's how we felt.
Yeah.
So it is, to me, looking is a communication thing. And I don't think Deron Bland being out should cause that much havoc in there. So what they do from here will be very much interesting. But I agree with Christy. I think Russell Wilson, as much as people want to call him washed, he's very much IQ, very smart. Caleb Williams going into his second year maybe can, like you said, be fooled a little bit, but also understand, and I know we'll get into it tomorrow, this is a hungry Chicago team who does not want to fall 0-3, and Ben Johnson is not trying to be another head coach who doesn't make it out of Chicago. So keep that in mind.
We're going to dive into this matchup tomorrow. It is a player off day, so of course no practice today, but I'm sure the Cowboys and the coaching staff will be trying to clean up some things over the next couple of days. But make sure to follow us on Twitter because we know we'll be out there tweeting some practice photos and stuff like that tomorrow. Bree, Christy, Aisha, myself as well. But that's a wrap for today's show. For Brianna Aldridge, Christy Scales, Aisha Morrison, I'm Nicole Hutchison. See y'all back here tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Bye.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.